Hi everyone. So today's video is going to be another tutorial. I had loads of fun filming the which one was it? The Peony Watercolour tutorial for you, and I thought I will do something a little bit more easier today, and it's going to be the Whimsical flowers. So I have here a number of different flowers, and today I'm going to teach you how to do this type of flower. So this is kind of the same flower, but one is easier and this one is slightly more difficult. So you can try either way, which one you prefer. So for this tutorial you will need some pen of some sort. Now the pen needs to be extra fine, so it could be and it needs to be waterproof. So the one I'm going to use is the Platinum Carbon ink, and it's extra fine, so it's super fine, and it's become my favorite pen. And then we will need watercolor. Now I'm going to use Schminke Horadam, and you can use any watercolor of your choice. And we will also need a brush to go with it. So depending on which brush you go, either a conventional brush, and then you'll need obviously a jar of water to go with it, or or you could, maybe want to use one of the water brushes. I actually don't have much water left in here, and because I have a jar of water on my desk ready, I'm going to use just a regular watercolor brush, and just trying to pick the size. I think I'm going to use the number 6 today. Okay, so let's get going. So let's start with the easy version. So for the easy flower, we're going to start actually, let me start with the easier one over here at the top and then work myself towards the bottom. So we are going to draw an oval like so, and then we're going to repeat the shape of it just underneath it like this, and then we're going to draw a bigger oval and slightly off center, so it's not going to be balanced. So something like this. It doesn't have to be perfect, that's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't have to be a perfect oval. The wonkier the better for this type of drawing. Now we're going to start by doing W's, okay? So it's going to be W, and then you're going to repeat this process like so, and stop around here. So we're kind of starting halfway and stopping around there as well. Then we're going to do the same thing but with a larger petal, larger size. So you just go bigger, and then try to be whimsical and try to be a little bit more freehand. And I find, okay, so as I was saying, the faster you go, the better they tend to come out, because with whimsical flowers you don't need precision, you don't need that perfection. So try to turn them a little bit as well. And so that is it. So what we're trying to achieve here is kind of 2 layers of petals overlaying, okay? Then I'm going to just add one like that, and this one going to go there. So now we're going to do the center, and we're just going to draw 3 lines. One in the middle is going to be the longest, and then the shorter ones on each side. To finish off the illustration, I'm going to add some foliage, okay? Again, try to be kind of more free-handed with it. I find with leaves and foliages, it looks much better. And then I'm going to draw a line in the middle, just like so. So that's the easy version. Now let's do the slightly more complicated, which is in this corner here. So it's going to have a lot more petals and they're going to be smaller, and we're going to create a very, very fluffy looking flower. So this one we're going to turn the other way. So this one, the first one we did is turned to the left, the next one is going to be turned to the right. So let's start. So we're going to start with a very small oar, like so. Then we're going to repeat a shape that's going to go underneath it, but it's not going to be an oval because we're going to make it separate. It will be, so basically watch, so you go like that and then you finish off here by leaving a gap in between, so it suggests they're two separate parts. And then we're going to do exact the same with the third one, slightly bigger, like so. Okay, now we're going to do these exact the same petals as we did in the first flower, but we're going to make them much smaller, so like that. And let's go quite quick because, like I said, when you let your hand just glide, it looks a lot better. Now next layer we're going to do just slightly bigger but almost the same, like so. Just let your hand have fun. Next one we're going to come out slightly before this flower and then continue the same thing. And we're going to do one more layer, like so, like so. Now we're going to go back and we're going to break it up a little bit and make it a little bit more natural, and we're going to also suggest that we can see some of these petals on the other side, like so. Not too much, but just filling in. And now we're going to concentrate on the center. This center I want to be very, very kind of fluffy as the flower itself. I'm going to add a lot of these lines and then connect the dots, and then you can also add the dots randomly where there are no lines, just to again suggest that fluffy kind of center. Okay, so and then we're going to do the foliage again, like so. These flowers are super fun to draw, and I hope you try, and if you do let me know in the comment box how you got on, because they are really not too complicated and they look very impressive after you're done. So that's the drawing part. Now let's do the watercolor part. So you can choose colors that you like. I have obviously gone here for different colors and kind of tried to pick the combinations that I like. There's some oranges and some reds, some pinks, etc, etc. So pick a color that you like, and then also pick a green that will be complementing the colors. So basically, to go with this orange, I went for something a little bit more like a yellowy green. With this pink, it was a pastel kind of light green. With this pink, I went for slightly more muddier green, etc, etc. So just kind of try to color match them. Now I'm just trying to think. I need to break this one up a little bit here because it kind of doesn't look too natural. It's kind of too repetitive, so I just stuck a little petal there. I'm going to go for the Brilliant Purple, and it's a color that I have enjoyed quite a lot lately, and I'm going to dilute it slightly. the way I'm going to start is by doing the darkest part first. And there's too much water in my brush. I'm going to start by doing the darkest part first and then wash it out. So you can see that my watercolor is very watery. So I'm going to make it a little bit more concentrated. So there you go. And first I'm going to just do the darkest bits. It's easier rather than just washing your brush out every time. You're wasting watercolor that way. And also you need to let the watercolor dry just slightly before you go back to it, because when it's too wet you won't have that lovely contrast. I'll show you in a second what I mean, but basically that's what I'm doing right here. So at this point I can now try to go back. So I'm going to wash out my brush, and with very little water there I'm just going to go back and kind of let the watercolor do its thing, like so. And it's important to leave some white in these petals, because that's what makes them look quite nice. I don't want the watercolor to color or to fill the entire petal. It just becomes too flat, but that's my style, my preference. And so now it's starting to look quite nice. I'm also going to, while the watercolor is wet, I'm going to dab in some water and create these lovely blooms. And now I'm going to go into these little ones and do exactly what I've just done now, but being very carefully when I'm pulling the watercolor out. So now I'm going to go again back into the concentrated watercolor, and I'm going to just add it right in the corners where the petals are coming out, like so. Okay, so that's it. And then I'm going to take yellow and I'm going to go for transparent yellow. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to be able to see these lovely lines that I have created. And some yellows are not transparent and you won't be able, basically they're quite opaque and they hide the lines in a way. And I'm going to touch some of these pinks and let it go into the yellow, and I'm going to go back into that lovely pink and I'm going to just try and draw a line between these two parts that we created, because I want the color to start moving into one another and create a lovely color. So like that. I'm going to go into green now, and I am going to, let's see, mix up a lovely green. So sub green I'm going to tone down a little bit, and I'm going to go into that pink, because that's how you can tone down a bright color, is just by going to a color that is quite opposited. So for example, pinks and reds. And I'm just going to, for now, outline the leaf and trying not to go over the black line. I'm kind of leaving a white space here, and that will look quite nice. So to break it up a little bit, I'm going to go into the yellow again, mix it up into that green color, and then just dab it on here and there, and that will break up the watercolor. The exact same color that I just dabbed on, I'm going to actually put onto this leaf and create some interest. I don't want every leaf to be exactly the same, but you will see it will be a lot more lighter. So what I'm going to do is then darken it up quickly. So I'm going to go with that, or So yeah, that's the sap green, so it's more greener. And I'm going to now dab that sap green here and there, and that's going to create a breakdown sort of the color, so it won't look as flat. And then with some water I'm going to dab it on, and actually I think I need some more green. It's a little bit too harsh. I don't like this green, so I'm going to go into olive green to make it a little bit more muddier. Yeah, that's perfect now. There are just some greens that I don't understand at all. Not that I don't understand, but I just don't like them. I don't think they're very pretty. Okay, so that's the green part. And then let's move on to the more complicated flower, but it only was complicated in terms of drawing it. It's not going to be any more complicated when coloring that flower in. So I'm just going to go this way, and you can do a similar thing, or you can pick a different color. So let's see, I think I'm going to actually mix up geranium red with this brilliant purple that I used for the one above. Let's see what I can get. I think that's a nice color. So here I'm not going to fuss about and kind of do what I've done in the first flower, because these petals are a lot smaller. And I'm just going to kind of touch the watercolor here and there quite quickly, holding my brush almost at the end so that my movements aren't too controlled, and just kind of do these little dabbing motions here and there, and that is it. Then I'm going to go into water and kind of touch it in between and let it kind of flow a little bit like so. And I'm also going to do the same on this side right here. It's good to use transparent colors, because like you can see, if I used an opaque one right here, what would have happened, oops, is that went into green accidentally, is that you wouldn't see the details of the center of the flower, which is what we do want to see. So over here I'm going to create a shadow and suggest that there is a little light, and so it's the darkest part, and that's going to make it slightly more realistical and a little bit more interesting. So and then I'm going to go back into the yellow. I'm going to use the same yellow. There's just no point using any other yellow because of its prettiness. And I'm just going to kind of go in like this, wash my brush out, and just kind of touch the whole thing, and just like this, make it move around, and look at this beautiful orangey color you get. How pretty is that? So now let's go quickly into the green. Not that we are in any rush. I'm struggling to speak today for some reason. It's been a long week though. So, and let's see. Okay, this is the right color now. Yeah. So it's kind of a bit on the muddy side. I do like it. And I'm going to do the same principle as I did before, just lightly kind of do the edges first and then leave some of that lovely white. I'm actually going to go in with the same color this time onto the second one, and then I'm going to try and break it up a little bit just by using a little different green mix on top like so. That's too much. Okay, that should be okay. And if it is too dark, what you can then do is just wash your brush off and make the color blend a little bit into this, like so. And if it's kind of too dark and you don't like it, you can take a tissue and dab it off slightly, like so. And then you can take water and just do the thing that I love to do, create these lovely blooms and texture, which is very organic looking, but not too much, because if it's too much water it's just gonna do become one-dimensional again. Okay, so that is it. I hope you enjoyed it, and it was supposed to be a quick tutorial. I don't know how quick it actually ended up being, but you got 2 flowers, one easier, one slightly more complicated, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. See you soon.